You are watching Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I am your host, Jack Sperry. On today's show, the Steelers signed an offensive tackle, leaving just one spot left on their 90-man roster. Going to be breaking down who that is here in just a second. And, of course, Mitch Trubisky signed a 2-year contract extension on Thursday. Going to be breaking down the details with you here in just a sec. And then, of course, Pro Football Focus came out with their annual offseason review for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going to be breaking down all of these topics here in just a second. But first, go ahead and like this video if you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are playoff bound. Will the Steelers make the playoffs in 2023? If you think so, go ahead and like today's video. It's a free and easy way to help out the channel. We really do appreciate all the support you give to the channel. So starting off here with the Steelers free agency news of the day, where they signed offensive tackle Dylan Cook on Thursday. So last year, Cook spent the season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Didn't play any regular season snaps, only played in the preseason. But during those games, he actually graded pretty darn well, according to Pro Football Focus grading. So he's somebody that's going to be coming in competing with LaRaven Clark and Dan Moore Jr. to kind of be a backup option for the Steelers at the offensive tackle position. You got Broderick Jones in there, of course, and Chukwuma Okorafor as your presumptive starters. And, of course, Dan Moore Jr., LaRaven Clark, and now you're adding Dylan Cook to this group here. It's going to be interesting to see how he competes. He's coming out of he's a second-year player, so he's going to be in his sophomore season. He was a rookie last season. Released by the Buccaneers, now picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, of course, this means that the Steelers just have one spot left to fill on their 90-man roster. A lot of people are speculating that it could be for a splash move because of all these different things that they've been doing. They cut Akella Witherspoon. They cut Arthur Maulet. They lowered Mitchell Trubisky's cap hit for 2023 by giving him an extension. A lot of people think that this is going to be a move for either Kwan Alexander, the inside linebacker, formerly with the New York Jets, or Kyle Van Noy, kind of a hybrid inside-outside linebacker type. It's played with the Patriots, the Lions, the Dolphins, and, of course, the Los Angeles Chargers last year, where he played all 17 games. So which NFL free agent should the Steelers add to the roster here in the coming days? Let me know in the comment section right now. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever YouTube throws an ad break your way here, do me a favor, take advantage of that time by answering today's question. Then the other bit of news, of course, is that the Steelers signed Mitchell Trubisky to a 2-year contract extension, meaning that he's going to be in Pittsburgh until 2025 now. So he's locked up for quite a bit here as the backup quarterback for your Pittsburgh Steelers. The new deal now, it's going to be 3 years, $19.4 million over the course of those 3 years. And then with incentives, he can make $33 million total if he hits all of the roster incentives, playing time incentives, all these different things that are a part of his contract. So it lowers his 2023 cap hit from $10.65 million to just $8 million. So you save about $2.5 million in 2023 cap space. His cap number for the next couple of seasons is going to be lower, which is nice to see because he was going to be a free agent after this season. It's nice to see that the Steelers aren't going to be paying as much as they would have for their backup quarterback. And then, of course, last season, started off as the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the quarterback position, ended up as the Kenny Pickett's backup, ended up with a 76.6 PFF grade, which was 16th in the National Football League. And fun fact, it's actually higher than Kenny Pickett's. So I don't mind this move at all because I think Mitch is a really solid backup quarterback. I don't think he's a starting caliber guy, in my opinion. I think that he's somebody that you put in there. You know, if your starting quarterback gets hurt, he can win you some football games. Last year, they kind of had some training wheels on the offense when he was here with the Pittsburgh Steelers as the starter. Lots of outside routes, lots of comeback routes, curl routes, that sort of stuff. Really high percentage throws for Mitch. Not a lot of stuff over the middle for Trubisky last season. So 65% completion percentage last year, pretty darn good as well. He had that really bad 3-interception game against the Baltimore Ravens. I know that that's kind of sticking in the craw of a lot of Steelers fans out there, you know, because it arguably cost the Steelers a playoff berth because you're playing Anthony Brown, who had like 30 yards or something passing in that game. That definitely should have been a W. But at the end of the day, he is a good player. He is a good backup, and I think that's nice to see that he's going to be there for Kenny Pickett here over the next 3 years. So if you think Joey Porter Jr. is going to be the next lockdown CB1 for your Pittsburgh Steelers. You can get his officially licensed Steelers jersey on the Chat Sports website. You can go chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to scoop up one of the final Joey Porter Jr. jerseys we have available. I mean, these things have been going like crazy. It's the highest selling Steelers jersey on the market right now. People are loving Joey Porter Jr. coming back home. If you want to get one today, you got to shop while supplies last, guys. Go to chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. So now let's go over what Pro Football Focus had to say about the Steelers offseason this year. And it seems like they were they liked it a lot, is what I'll say here. They gave it an A grade. They only gave out a couple A grades across the 32 NFL franchises. Steelers were one of those teams that got an A, and I think that this is absolutely correct. They made a lot of really great moves. They improved the roster. They didn't have too many players leave in free agency, other than Cam Sutton, of course. But I think that the Steelers did a good job, and this is what Sam Monson from Pro Football Focus had to say about it. Pittsburgh made several low-key additions in free agency that should help this team significantly from a season ago. Isaac Seumalo has earned PFF pass blocking grades of at least 77.4 over the last 3 seasons, while cornerback Patrick Peterson and linebacker Cole Holcomb should both be upgrades. And he continues to say here, adding Allen Robinson II for almost nothing in exchange for a huge low-risk, high-reward proposition. And, it definitely seems like I agree with this. During the free agency and the trade period, I think they did a really good job bringing in a guy like Allen Robinson to fill that slot wide receiver position, giving the Steelers a different flavor in the slot as opposed to the really tiny Calvin Austin III. I think was a great move. The guys that they brought in, they didn't spend too much money on free agents, but they filled some holes that they needed to have filled this season. And I think that overall the roster's in good shape. Heading into the draft, I think that the Steelers did a really good job, and Pro Football Focus agrees with me here, saying Pittsburgh's draft was arguably the best in the entire league. Joey Porter Jr. was a natural fit, and they selected him in the 2nd round, not the first, having already secured tackle Broderick Jones. Continuing to say here, Keanu Benton should make an impact along the defensive line immediately, and as much as Darnell Washington may have always been overrated as a fringe first-round prospect at tight end, he is a steal at pick number 93 in the 3rd round. Definitely seems like Pro Football Focus likes what the Steelers did during the offseason, and I completely agree. I think they crushed free agency. They didn't spend too much. They filled the holes that they needed to have filled, and then during the draft, they did the same. They got Broderick Jones. Omar Khan really did a nice job of waiting for the right time to trade up for him. And then, of course, you go out and get Joey Porter Jr. And just every single pick, you're getting value, which is why I had them as an A-plus grade in the 2023 NFL Draft. So we're going to continue with Pro Football Focus's offseason review here in just a second. But first, make sure that you subscribe to the channel here for daily Steelers videos here on YouTube. They last about 15 minutes, give or take a couple of minutes. You can become an expert on your favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, by watching our daily videos. Absolutely 100% free. And, of course, we have our weekly interactive live shows where you can have your voice heard with me and Chugs here at Chat Sports Studios. And then, of course, we're going to have watch parties for every single game for the Pittsburgh Steelers this regular season. Can't wait to share those moments with y'all. I think it's going to be a special season for the Black and Gold. Click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. So now Pro Football Focus had a breakout candidate for 2023 for all 32 NFL teams, and they picked quarterback Kenny Pickett as their breakout candidate for the Black and Gold. This article was written by Zoltan Boudet from Pro Football Focus, and this is what he had to say on the Steelers' signal caller. Pickett was the first quarterback selected in the 2022 NFL Draft, and while he got off to a slow start last season, he had a very promising finish to his rookie campaign. His 75.5 overall grade ranked 18th among quarterbacks, and he was among the best at the position during the last 7 weeks of the season. Continues to say here, in fact, he earned the second highest PFF passing grade in that time span over the last 7 weeks, behind only Joe Burrow, and ranked second in big-time throw percentage ahead of the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Burrow. He also posted the lowest turnover-worthy play percentage in the league in that span. And, the thing with Kenny Pickett last season is over the first couple games of his NFL career, or first starts, I should say, he really struggled. He really did. On tape, he wasn't getting through his progressions. He was panicking. He was making inaccurate throws. He couldn't locate the ball down the field. But over that final stretch of the season, when the Steelers really got going and almost made the playoffs, Kenny Pickett played great. He was awesome. He was making great throws down the field. He was making the right decisions with the football. He was making plays outside of the pocket. And that's the kind of Kenny Pickett that the Steelers fans are looking to see out of KP this year, and I think that they're going to see it. I think after a really great offseason where apparently he's put on 15 pounds of muscle, he's somebody that's got more chemistry with his guys now. I think he's going to be able to come in his sophomore season and really show that he's going to be the franchise quarterback for the Steelers moving forward. So let me know what you guys think right now in the comments section. Will Kenny Pickett be a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League in 2023? Will he have that breakout season? Let me know in the comments by typing yes or by typing no. So now finally here, Pro Football Focus ranked all 32 NFL rosters, and they have the Steelers at number 12 overall. And along with this ranking, they kind of broke it down into 5 different sections here, where first of all, they're going to be breaking down the biggest strength on the Steelers, which to them is the pass rush. And it's hard not to see the pass rush as the best thing on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now because it is freaking awesome. You got TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith on the outside. Absolutely fantastic with Nick Herbig as that rotational piece on third downs and in obvious passing situations. Then you look inside and you got Cameron Hayward, a perennial all-pro with Larry Ogunjobi, who the Steelers really believe in. And then, of course, you bring in Keanu Benton, who's going to be a rotational nose tackle there in their 3-4 base alignments, but then is also going to be able to come in on nickel sets and, rotate in with Ogunjobi and Hayward on those 4-down fronts when they're in nickel and dime packages. So I'm really excited about Keanu Benton's future, and I think you look at the depth here. You look at the talent that the Steelers have. They have one of, if not the best pass rushes in the National Football League. Then Pro Football Focus said the biggest weakness for the Pittsburgh Steelers is the cornerback room. Now, I disagree with this one. I think it's the inside linebacker room right now. But, there is some question marks here, right? Patrick Peterson, he's getting older. Joey Porter Jr., he's a rookie, right? And he's had some issues with grabbing and pass interference penalties in the past. Levi Wallace, not exactly what the Steelers look for body type-wise in their system. Right, there's some question marks here, but on the other hand, I see a lot of great upside. Patrick Peterson's been talking a lot about playing in the nickel and kind of playing more of a nickel star role this year, which I'm very excited to see him do that because he's a very instinctual player, and that's really what you need to be when you're going to play that nickel star position. And you also have Corey Trice Jr. you get in the 7th round, who had as a 3rd-round value. I think he's going to be a potential starter for the Steelers moving forward. And, of course, Joey Porter Jr., I had a 1st-round grade on him. I think he's a perfect fit for the Steelers defense. I think the cornerback room is going to be just fine for the black and gold this season. Then we get to the X factor for the 2023 season, and Pro Football Focus thinks it's going to be George Pickens. Now, George Pickens, I do expect to have a big-time sophomore season. He's big, he's fast, he's got good acceleration, and, he's a better route runner than I think people give him credit for. Matt Canada didn't really use him in a bunch of different ways. I think his route tree could be expanded in his 2nd year, but along with Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, I think George Pickens is going to ascend to that true number 1 receiver role for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. Really excited for his future, but let's be real here, guys. Kenny Pickett is going to be that X factor for the Steelers in 2023. In a division where you got quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson, and all those rosters, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Cleveland, they're pretty darn good rosters as well. Quarterback play is really going to be the X factor for the Steelers this year, and whether or not they can win this division. Because if Kenny Pickett can't perform, if he's not up to the standard of arguably the best division in football here, Steelers could be left in the wayside here, and they could be 4th in the AFC North. It's extremely possible that if Kenny Pickett doesn't perform next season, that is a possibility. The Steelers could have a very disappointing 2023 campaign. But like I said earlier, I'm very excited about Kenny Pickett. He showed some good things towards the end of last season. I think he's going to carry that momentum into this season. I think he's going to play well, and because of that X factor, I think the Steelers are going to have some success. Then you go to the rookie to watch here from Pro Football Focus, and they say Joey Porter Jr. is the guy to watch, and I 100% agree. You can get his jersey on the Chat Sports website right now, guys. PFF says you got to watch out for him. Go chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to get that 24 jersey. But, man, Joey Porter, somebody I'm very excited to see in this Steelers defense. He's a perfect fit with those long arms, long strides. He's extremely fast, and he's somebody that just fits what Mike Tomlin likes to do. They love to play cover one man in press on first and second down more than any other team in the National Football League. He's a perfect fit for that. I can't wait to see how he does in his rookie season. Then this is the one that's kind of weird to me. After all this good stuff that Pro Football Focus has been saying about the Steelers, the over-under at 8.5, they have the Steelers winning less than 9 games this year, which was kind of weird because they were kind of heaping praise on the Steelers throughout their entire article. So this is what they had to say. The Steelers have never had a losing record under Mike Tomlin, but given how strong the AFC North is expected to be and a lack of high-end talent, that streak could end in 2023. So I completely disagree with this, guys. I think that the high-end talent, I mean, you look at the guys that they have. Minkah Fitzpatrick, All-Pro last year. TJ Watt, if he stays healthy, he's going to be an All-Pro. Cameron Hayward could absolutely be an All-Pro this year. I mean, Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, we'll see how those guys do this season. Najee Harris, I think, is going to have a real good year. I think the Steelers, this is the year for a lot of breakout stars to come out in the black and gold. And I think the only way the Steelers lose 9 games or more here, so 8 wins or less. The only way I think that that's going to be the case is if Matt Canada sucks or Kenny Pickett sucks. Now, that's a significant possibility. That could absolutely happen. I just don't think it will. I think Matt Canada with the new power run scheme, I think he can hide some of his flaws with that run scheme a little bit. And then Kenny Pickett, I think he showed some good things last year. I think he's going to have a good year. I think the Steelers are going to have double-digit wins next season. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Will the Steelers have 10 or more wins in 2023? Give me a hell yes or a hell no in the comments section to let me know. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. You can go ahead and follow me at Jack_Sperry on Twitter for a shout-out on next week's Steelers Talk Live show. I sincerely appreciate your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.